Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the first time if you're new. Regardless, let's talk about Aerodrome Finance. So good old Aero. This is a crypto I own. You might just kind of assume that, but if you've been around the channel a little bit, I tend to talk a lot about crypto I don't own because there's a shit ton of things to talk about that are exciting, interesting, or cool. But today I'm going to talk about Aero. More specifically, I guess you want to just call this a shilling video of just like I'll probably put 5 or 10 things I'm really bullish about Aerodrome. I don't know how many we're actually going to go over today, but these are like what I think are some of the highlight or the key points of Aerodrome. And I'll probably briefly look at the chart, pull that up. Prices change all the time. This one has changed a lot in the last couple of weeks, and we're only going to have more of it. Still at a good price. It was always better, the day before, but let's get in a little bit about some things I really like about Aero. We'll pull up the charts, probably do a little conversation about it, and then call it a day. Let's hop into it. So if you're not familiar with what Aerodrome is, it is the main DEX on Base. Coinbase does not have a crypto itself, where like crypto.com has Crow, Binance has BNB. Coinbase doesn't have its own coin, and everything that I've seen, read, and heard, they have no intent to ever having one. However, Aerodrome is kind of the adopted child of Coinbase, meaning a lot of people think that Aero is Coinbase's coin. It's not, but it's getting tied more and more into Coinbase. And Coinbase has been doing a lot of cool shit that's really directed towards really building up the wealth of Coinbase, but directly helps Aerodrome out a lot. And that's where a lot of this is going to come from today. So Coinbase app is soon going to be just known as Base, and they're adding a lot of stuff to it, including directly tying Aerodrome into Base, like into the Coinbase app. So now people, everything you could do on Aerodrome Finance, which I don't know if you've done anything with before. I've used liquidity pools for Aerodrome. I've recently pulled everything out. But you'll be able to do that directly from Base. So it makes it a lot easier for people who just either don't know what they're doing or don't want to go through the extra step of going to Aero's website, sending everything from one wallet to another, putting it in. You can directly do it on Base. This is going to be huge, let alone then Coinbase is doing leverage trading. Call this a second thing. I think it's the number 2. They're going to be doing active trading on it. What DEX do you think they're using for that? All right, Aerodrome is going to be directly used, and when you have DEX that are used, the prices go up. When it comes to Base and Aerodrome specifically, the TVL just keeps pounding up, guys. More and more is coming in. Total value locked, surpassing $1 billion on its year to year. That is freaking massive, guys. It is outpacing Uniswap. It is likely going to outpace Binance. The thing is growing so freaking quick, and it's just adding more and more to it. I really think Aerodrome is going to be one of the largest gainers and most popular crypto of the cycle. When you enter always matters, right? So the Aero I own is actually the second time I've owned it. I bought it when, and if you guys heard this story before, sorry, but thank you for watching my videos if you have. I first got into it at 17 cents, right? I think this was early 24, I think. It was just an experimental crypto on Coinbase. Hopped in 17 cents, didn't put a lot into it. Always wish you put a lot more, right? And I sold it around $2.02. Awesome. It went down, did its thing, and now I'm back in on, I think my average is around 78 cents. Full transparency for what it's worth. And I think this thing's going to keep going up. It can definitely has the potential of hitting $8 to $10. I'll be mostly out by that point. Just, I guess, giving a random price prediction in the middle of a rambling video. I think this thing's going to do very well. And depending what you're looking for, I think it has at least a good 7-8x from here. A lot of other people are saying $20 plus. Time frame, right? We're talking 2 years down the road. I'm in 2 to 5 years. This cycle, love to see it. I'm not going to bet on it, but we'll see what ends up happening. But there's so much coming in. Like large banks, number 3 or 4. I don't know what we're on. JP Morgan, maybe you've heard of them, put in a shit ton of money into the base ecosystem. It's doing this for a couple of reasons, mostly for their industrial investors. So that way, people, large companies, can go ahead and invest or get small loans through JP Morgan, because it's what banks do, right? They put out loans and they can do it over on base. One of the new upgrades with base, whatever number now we're on, is they're calling it Base Business or Coinbase Alpha. They change the name every other week. Point being, though, is that companies are soon going to be able to pay invoices and salaries to their employees in crypto through Base. Well, in crypto, it's probably going to be mostly stable coins, right? Like it's probably going to be USDC. But that's money that's coming through. That is a huge freaking deal that you're now bringing companies, industry on chain. Base is appearing to be the leader, the first one to really make this happen. There'll be others, but Coinbase is relatively trusted, and it's only going to directly benefit Aerodrome. Something else AERO does that I like when companies do this is they have their own buyback systems. Burning and buybacks, I'm a huge fan of because it helps control inflation. And inflation is not a bad thing, not in terms of crypto. Actually, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing in economics, but that's a whole other story. But when we're looking at this time in the bull run, it's nice to know that they're going to be buying back some of their own tokens. So what they do is their system systematically uses roughly 30% of the protocol fees to buy back and then lock away AERO tokens. And those locked AERO tokens then can be used for things like the staking and liquidity pools. So it keeps it on chain, right? So they will just buy back a little bit to store it away for you guys to buy, use, etc. It is great. They've done over 100 million tokens have already been rebought back and sent back through circulation a couple of times. Awesome. Again, it just helps keep money flowing. And when you're at a business like a DEX, Aerodrome, that they make more money from money coming through using the same change. It's phenomenal. I already kind of hit about staking and liquidity pools. I'm a fan, right? I don't think I have anything staking or in liquidity pools right now. My goal is to pretty much pull everything out because I don't know when I'm going to sell, other than I know selling's going to start happening soon, at least for me, on all my crypto, right? But huge fan of staking. You're essentially collecting dividends or interest for holding your crypto. No reason not to stake it. Okay, there's minimal risk with things. Do your own research, know what you're doing. But liquidity pools are a little bit more risky, but you can also do that in a very safe manner where you pair Aerodrome with a USDC, keep it simple, and then you start printing a little bit of both just by having it sit there. And Aerodrome uses the rebought back tokens to help this process. It's a great little flywheel system that Aerodrome has to where there should always be some money involved. And then last but not least, there's hype. Hype always matters. Crypto is a popularity contest. More and more people are hearing about Aerodrome. Almost everyone's heard of Coinbase. So the more they tie in, I mean, I'm part of this too, I guess, of people tying in Coinbase to Aerodrome, the more people are going to come in for it. It's a great little setup they have. So real briefly, as advertised, let's pull up a chart. So Aerodrome, it's floating around number 73. It's doing well at $1.36. It hung around the 75, 80 cents for a while, and it boomed the bleep out of nowhere. Okay, there was catalyst. A lot of market news, more information coming out about the new base system. I'm contemplating doing something. I always give spiritual advice, not financial advice, of course, to do is I'm looking at pushing back my first sell limit, guys. Right now, my first sell limit's around 230. I'm going to take a little percentage at a 3x. I might push it back more because I'm getting more and more confidence that's going to go up. In reality, I'll probably just sell less at that limit, so I have more to sell higher up. But this thing can boom out of nowhere and it can hold. So this change that we had here, this started on the 8th. And today the recording, I don't know when I'm going to post this, but I think today's like the 15th. Today's the 16th. Okay. So this was just over a week ago. It went from, we have 87 cents. It hit up the high. I remember seeing over 140. Yep. And it seems to be settling here around the 135. There's a chance over the weekends will dip to right around 130 or slightly below. Weekends are usually red. So I always see weekends as usually the better buying opportunities for crypto. It's rare that it goes up on the weekends. Can always happen. But Aerodrome is looking very healthy. We look at it on the year chart, and we know we were hanging around prices a little bit less than we're at now. It was actually a little bit more sporadic, but we'll see as we get more time. But floating between 115 and 135, 37. And then we had the blow up during the Trump pump to 220. Yeah, I remember I sold on the way back down. So I was somewhere right in this area. Yep. That was probably partly me. Definitely not all me. Definitely not. I think the next pump, possibly with the rate cut that is pending, I think that's going to jump this up. It could jump up sooner if Base announces something more like an exact timeline of when the new app is going to go live and everything, updated app. That will certainly jump it up. But I'm not confident it's going to go much lower, guys. If you're looking at putting a buy limit in, I would probably look around this. Depends on how safe or risky you want to get, right? I think there's a good chance that we'll see it come around the $1.20 marker if there's a pullback. I'm not saying there is. I think we would need a large black swan event for really to go anything under $1.10. But play your risks the way you want. It's your money. Do the best with it that you can. So there you have it, guys. That's some of my thoughts about why I'm so effing excited about Aerodrome Finance. Now, what I request of you is if you like videos like this, let me know down in the comments below. I'm planning on doing more videos like this for crypto that I own. And of course, as you guys have been with me that know, I'll do this for other crypto I like that I don't own. Because just because I don't own a crypto doesn't mean it's a scam, it's garbage, or any of that bullshit you hear people say. A lot of good companies out there. And I'll gladly talk about any of them that I think is good. So if you have any requests, put them down below. If I tell you I'm going to do it, I'll do it. So also, if you've been here, press the like button and subscribe. I know you thought about it. Talking to you. But until the next video and beyond, thanks for being here. See you guys again soon.